Thanks so much for having me here today. I know how intimate an artist studio space is, and just to allow me in for the conversation is an honor. So I just want to thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Yep. And going back to the first day I met you, it was a really, really, really hot day. I was driving down the highway, and I was looking through the passenger side window, and I said, what's happening here? I saw this artist, I saw brushes, I saw jars of paint, I saw a giant canvas on the side of the road, and I needed to stop. Stopped short, did a U-E, parked on the other side of the street up on the sidewalk, got out, and ran over to you and said, oh my gosh, what is this? Who are you? What's going on here? I need to know. So from that day forward, you know, in the back of my mind, I said, I must have a conversation with this woman. Can you tell me a little bit more about that particular project? The scale, how you came up with the concept? Did you ever do anything that size before? You know, what brought you to that moment?
There's been a lot of development in my community, and when the wall went up, I just kept driving by it, and it was the hottest time in the summer, and it just haunted me. I just kept driving, and at the time I was drawing these particular figures, and I said, ooh, I just kind of had this vision, and every time I passed, I would see it again and again, and I was like, I have to do something. And it was something really just drove me, and I really feel like I was just listening to my inner guide. And luckily the developer gave me permission, and I went out. I did not know how big it was going to be. I just knew I wanted it to be big, because I love working big. And it wound up being about 92 feet long.
Okay. Wow.
And it was, you know, all drawn spontaneously. There was no real plan, other than I was starting each figure from the heart. So that was the common thread throughout the whole piece, is everyone has a heart, but each figure is completely unique and different. And then the rainbow, of course, represents the full spectrum of all of us beautiful people.
Well, it was really fabulous. Most people agree that art heals, connects, and transforms the human experience in some way. Public art often brings people together, fostering a conversation. What was the public reaction to this piece of art?
It was really positive. People honked their horns, they were waving, everyone was really happy. I think it brought a lot of happiness, which was my goal. I wanted to spread a little joy in the community, and I feel like I accomplished that.
I know that scale sometimes can be intimidating, but it also can create an unexpected opening for the artist. After working at that enormous scale, were there any internal changes that took place in yourself?
It was a very pivotal moment in my life, because I decided to really just honor that little voice that said, do this. And I decided I'm not going to ignore it. I'm just going to go for it. I just felt like I needed to do it. And I was there out in the craziest, hottest time of the year. But I was so driven. It just had to happen. So for me, that process was very pivotal, just as a human being, to kind of go, I can listen to my inner guides, and it has paid off in so many wonderful ways.
Yeah, I mean, and your passion. I mean, it was out there every day. I mean, it was nonstop. Yeah. And it was just an overwhelming project. So I was so glad I was able to witness it.
Thank you.
It almost feels like some people have a daily practice. Yeah. They do yoga, they meditate, they do some Tai Chi. For you, it was this spontaneous symmetry in your drawing that seemed to bring you to a really grounded place.
Yes, yes. I've used it as a healing tool. The spontaneous symmetry drawing has become something that I do every day, as often as I can. And I use it for many different reasons. Sometimes it's just I need to put some music on and I need to release, and it's a wonderful release. Sometimes I'm in the need of some real introspective work, or I need to get in touch with what I'm feeling that maybe I just don't have words for. So it kind of depends on what's happening, and I like to just respond and to react to the moment.
It's said that art evolves thinking. Right now, globally, we've become divided on so many issues. I'm wondering if the left brain, right brain activity of your ambidextrous art making is in fact the beginning of bridging some gaps in some way.
First of all, we bridge a gap between the two hemispheres of the brain because they're both activated, they're both kind of working together harmoniously. And often when I work with people, I'm actually asking them not to think. Because I think in our culture and the world today, with all of the information and all of the electronics and everything we're exposed to, people are thinking all the time and they're not present.
Right.
So I really encourage being in the moment. And when I do collaborative symmetry and I'm working with people, having people be present in the moment together and creating something is really profound. It's a wonderful tool to create mutuality between people.
This year, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the first Earth Day. Since art naturally inspires action, is there something about your process that can help lift and move a generation forward through simply engaging the left brain, right brain creative self?
This type of symmetry work helps bring people together. It definitely creates, people have a shared experience that is unique and fun. I've never had a sad person come and draw with me. It's always really delightful and full of joy, and that's why I do it. And if that's what happens for other people,
and I feel like you could be fearless, basically.
Yes.
You know, you're in front of this giant blackboard. You're just letting loose. You're flowing with the music. You're just flowing with the color, the stroke.
Yeah.
And you can actually be fearless.
I'm glad you bring that up because it's not so much the end result, but getting to that before even drawing, of being able to kind of let go of, okay, I want to start here. I want to do this. I want it to look like this. Or, oh, will I do this? You're kind of really just getting to that 0 point of being present first and then drawing. That's when I know, oh, that was a good one. Like,
So you've mentioned the impermanence quality of this type of art making. I know that you create art and you erase it. How does that feel internally for you? I know most artists save a lot of their preliminary drawings, they save mistakes, they save everything, and they might want to refer back to it, on their next, piece that they're going to create. For you, what's happening in you when you take that eraser and you wipe it away? I mean, it is gone.
The idea of ephemeral art is very, very liberating because you're not worried about the end result. However you feel about it, you can step back and you can always wipe it away and start again.
Yeah, it's like you wipe your own slate clean.
Exactly.
Every time you wipe that artwork away and that process, you're wiping something away, even internally, and then you're starting fresh. But when you're teaching workshops, can you describe how your students are moving through the process? Like, what's happening? You're there, you're describing how to move, how to use both hands, look at the wall. You've got a group of people in the room, many times, your adult classes. How do people step into it? Are they up against a blackboard going, ooh? Are they moving right into it? I imagine that's really fascinating, just watching that first step.
Yes, people respond in a variety of ways. Most people are very open. A lot of people often will look at it and go, I can't do that. And I'm always like, yes, you can, because I've done this with 9-month-olds, and I've done this with 95-year-olds, and everyone's been able to do it. And one thing that I have noticed is, wherever I am, if I'm at a festival, if I'm doing a workshop, or I'm in a school, the one thing that I have found across the board is it brings a smile to people's faces. There's this moment of joy, like, oh, look what I just did. That spontaneity, that feeling of wow. So when I see that happen, for me, that's already success. Then I've had situations where someone has expressed something from inside of them, and they step back and they look and they're weeping. So I've had, you know, the light experiences. I've had people who've had really profound experiences. And when I do training workshops and I work with people, we do tend to go pretty deep. And it's wonderful to also provide other artists and educators with the tool that they can use for themselves or with their students.
When I see your work and when I watch some of your videos, I'm personally mesmerized. There's something very, very Zen-like about what's happening. Is that what you're feeling when you're drawing? Are you in a zone? Or do you lose consciousness of what's around you and you are really just in your moment, you know, in your art?
Yeah, I'm definitely in that, I call it the joy place.
It feels like your art making is really your way of life. It's a really rounded approach to the world and a fully engaged response to just living. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, I really look forward to seeing how your work develops. I can't thank you enough for allowing me in your studio today. You know, I've been waiting for this conversation for a long time. I actually feel inspired to engage in my own artwork in a different way. And I'm looking forward to the next step. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for coming to my incubator. We'll have to get your drawing now. Okay, so the ideas we're going to use, you want to engage, either you could do it eyes closed, or you really just want to keep your focus centered.
Okay.
And you can go as big or as small as you want. You can just, you know, do what's a space that's comfortable for you.
Okay.
So get yourself centered, feel your feet grounded. Don't be afraid to touch the wall and kind of make contact with it. Get to know your little space there. Oh, beautiful. How'd it feel?
Ooh, I could just keep going. It is really a great experience. And it was funny because when I was doing it, I really wasn't even paying attention to the left hand. It was just happening.